See if my favorite tool will get it done.
The walls could talk. I'm sure there are lots of stories of what happened in this farm.
Good morning and happy day. Welcome back to New Age Custom Farming's YouTube channel. We're chopping. A little different, oh, we got some bird crap on the spout. That ain't cool. I got a little different view behind me today, so I'm hopping in my old trusty steed and heading out to the field to chop a little hay. We've got about 70 acres to chop to bring back to our heifers at our farm. We got all of our first crop done. Now we're just kind of going around. We got all of our first crop dairy alfalfa done. So all the good high quality stuff is taken care of. We've got a few other jobs. We've got this one to do for our heifers, which we don't need quite as hot a rocket fuel as we call it. So we've got a few fields around that kind of they're like the one I'm going to right now, for instance, just has like a grassier mix in it because it's been known to flood every time there's a creek. There's a creek right next to it, and every time it comes up, it floods the whole field. So we just leave alfalfa grass mix in there and chop it whenever we can. So that's mowed down, and then we've got some other strips on one of our farms that's got it's on a side hill, so it's got some hay strips in it, and we're gonna go up there and take care of them. And then we also have one field of new seeding, which is where our quality is going to come from for this little 70 acres. That's got 40 acres of its new seeding, so we're going to go chop that. And then we got one other little farm too where we got a waterway up the middle of it and kind of a side hill grassier mix again. So that's what we're doing today. Mason's got a leak in his oil cooler on his chopper, so he's washing out his whole engine bay right now so he can go and take that out. I got two trucks waiting for me already, or a truck and a tractor waiting for me already, and oh, hold on. There we go. There's what we're chopping. Looks like there's quite a bit out there actually, so.
They ended up getting a good majority of the chopping done, but then we actually got rained out. So there's still some that they'll have to go back and do, but the rain was much needed, so no complaints here.
On this or no?
What do we gotta do?
We're gonna put new bushings in the steering pin.
Well, let me do that. I can do that. Put it back.
Oh,
That's about all I got for you.
thanks.
I'm gonna go do computer.
Yeah, you've been really slacking on that, haven't you?
Why would I sit at my computer when it's so beautiful outside?
Because it needs to get done.
Setting it up for a while.
The bushing in here is still existing, but I can't get it to take grease, and it's getting a little sloppy. So I got bushing, and pin or bolt. We got a lot going on. Trying to hear what it is. But I got to pound this bushing out and take these two out here. I've got brand new ones to put in there, so hopefully they'll start taking grease again. I'm gonna get them all out of there, make sure the channel that the grease goes through, make sure it'll all take grease before I put it back together. Now I gotta find something to pound this out with, else I can use this bolt. just gonna end up smashing my fingers and pissed off. It might be a snap ring. I don't think there's a snap ring. Let's see if my favorite tool will get it done. Well, my next favorite tool, the torch. I can't find the rosebud, so we're gonna have to do it the slow way, but we're just gonna burn this whole thing to the ground. This is gonna be a lot to heat up. Well, oh, we got grease boiling out of the greaser, so it must be getting hot. I win. All right, let's hope that was the hard one. What is that? That possibly gets. We gotta get these two out. That was easy. Snap-on sponsored me. Honestly though, if you don't own a Snap-on air hammer and you're doing stuff like this, you're screwing up big time. This sucker rips. We've had the off-brand one. Snap-on's the way to go when it comes to air hammers. For sure. Okay, no wonder it wasn't going out the bottom. It wasn't gonna. I'll show you. Little groove in there. It's got to go out the top. Good to know for the next one. And see that little hole right there? That's where the grease is supposed to come out. And it looks like it's plugged solid. So we'll dig that out and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, all sorts of crusty. I'll put the grease gun on the Zerk here and push some out, push all the crap out of it before I put the bushing in. This is the new bushing. This is where the grease comes through. It does have a groove that'll allow the grease to come around and then in, but I am going to try and line it up with the greaser perfectly so it just goes right into that hole. The less places for problems, I think the better. So that's my goal, is to line it up perfectly so that goes right up to the greaser. There's one on each side. I don't know, maybe technically I don't know if you're supposed to put it halfway so the grease goes to both holes evenly, or if it's supposed to go in straight in, because then it won't get to the back side. The consensus is I'm lining it directly up. Probably still kind of hot. Yep, definitely still kind of hot. It's my life. Keep home. All right, does she take grease? Yeah. I might have to press that somehow. We'll try one good whack. Oh, just like I drew it up. Just like I drew it up. It's my life. It's now. We'll let the bolt sucker in. Or no, you were the right way. Go a little more. A little more. Golden. Got her. Yeah, give me 1 second. Alright, I'm gonna have to actually tighten it up more than I want to suck them bushings in. And then I'll loosen it to the correct scientific amount. Oh, that's money, dude. That is money. Well, of course, the second one I did it in literally a 16th of the time.
Got a pinhole in a hydraulic oil cooler on it, and it's supposed to slide right out the side, but it's not doing that, and I don't know if we're doing it right, but I wouldn't think you'd have to take the def tank off to get one bolt out so you can get it out, but maybe that's all we can figure out. So it had oil leak in it, probably from washing it sometime. Got a hole poked in. It was just a pinhole. We got through first crop with it, but we're fixing now for second crop. Got our experts on it.
Not you two?
Nope. I was over there for 2 minutes trying to help, but I was told to move on.
I heard you were getting a little grumped at by Mopey Mason, so
Yep.
I didn't ask him questions, but I knew Greggy would give me great content.
All right.
No. Mm-hmm.
I'm working on cleaning up and organizing all of my farm camp supplies because we have farm camp coming up so soon, and I actually keep some of our supplies that I use in our old dairy barn. So I just decided to take a look-see and peek around here, and let me tell you, if the walls could talk, I'm sure there are lots of stories of what happened in this farm. So this is an old stanchion barn, and so these stalls right here, for those of you who maybe never have stepped foot in a stanchion barn, these stalls right here are where the cows would go in, and actually I guess technically it's a tie stall barn. And they would be tied in using collars. You can see the chains that they would have. And then there's their waters that they would drink from right there. And then up front here in the manger is where their feed would get pushed out. And then right here is where the manure would come out. So you would scrape your stalls to the end, have the manure go in here, and then it would get brought down to here, and then out there on the other side is our slurry store where it would be stored. So there's what the old feed cart would look like. So the feed would be put in there and then they'd fork it out. Out of this in here, then we just store random crap. Out here is a pen. It used to be like the cow yard and stuff. And then down here at the other end, it connects to the Wagyu. So the shed was also down here. So Greg stopped milking in 1997, I believe. And so that was when this barn last had cows in it. Hi, big bubbas. Hello. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If anyone wants to buy this guy and maybe this guy and some of our other finished Wagyu, we I think are gonna start selling them with farmer grade as quarters and halves. And I'll do a whole video once we're ready to launch that, kind of explaining how quarters and halves work, how it's more beneficial for your family because you're able to buy a bundle of meat and you're able to save in the long run. And then you'll be able to buy one of these guys, but they won't come to you live. They'll come to you in frozen meat. I do think it'd be super cool because the bones of this barn are obviously there. If we could tear everything out, tear all the stanchions out, and then somehow make it so that we can either like host things in here or stuff like that. That would be really cool. But like I said, it's going to take a lot of time, energy, patience, money, most of which we don't have. So it'll be a while till we can get this project done. But I think at some point it would be super awesome to be able to do that. Up here's the old hay mow. Avery's uncle still uses it to actually store hay for his horses over here. And then as you can tell, there's lots of old bedding and